beautiful out here today, I've got to tell you. Unless you're stuck on the FDR, not so beautiful there. Northbound FDR at 73rd Street, we had a 3-car smash up. Basically, the slowdowns are backed up all the way.
One never assumed that we would see what we're seeing now, so we have no idea really what might happen.
Oh, those poor people. Oh, God.
It's a very emotional, sad place, and it could get overwhelming at a time when you realize what went on there. Those people that died during 9/11 are my family. My name is Michael Colorone, also affectionately known as Mikey Flowers. Hey, good morning, Baba. How are you? Nice to see you. So what I do is I donate the flowers to the 9/11 Memorial Program it's known as the birthday program. And what that does is honor the victims on their birthday by placing a white rose on their name at the fountain. We use about 5,000 roses a year. And I take great pleasure and great joy knowing that these people aren't forgotten and always remembered. The 9/11 Memorial had come to me and asked me how much I would charge for roses for this program. And I told them, in my hearts of hearts, I couldn't ever imagine of charging somebody to have the honor and privilege of doing this. The day of 9/11, I was actually standing here, and I walked to the corner of Greenwich Street to make a telephone call to talk to a friend of mine, and I heard a whistling sound, and next thing I know, I look up, and I see a plane go into the North Tower. And immediately I dropped the flowers that I was having in my car, and I grabbed my medical bag. I'm an EMT, and I started to run into the World Trade Center, and the chain of events stopped me from going in because there was a young woman outside suffering from an open head wound that I grabbed immediately, and I brought her to the medium to start treating her, and another EMT had come over and says, "Oh, I'll take care of her." So I made another attempt to run into the Trade Center to see, to get to the top. And there was another gentleman coming out. So I wound up taking care of him, and I never made it into the Trade Center. So it was thanks to those people who saved my life from not going in. I was trapped in the Winter Garden basement. I came out, you know what it was like. It was a total disaster. I started immediately working with the fire department and the Port Authority and the police. And I tried to do medical recovery and search and rescue. I wound up staying down there until they pulled out the last piece of steel. And 9/11 and the World Trade Center is like a home to me.
Every single day, our visitor services team print out a list of the names of the victims that would have had birthdays on that day. The Birthday Rose program started in 2013, and it was suggested by a volunteer who thought that it was best to honor and remember the lives of the victims that were lost by placing a single white rose on the names of the victims on their birthdays.
Brian was 38 years old on September 11th. I met Brian in a bar in Philadelphia, and he stood out to me as a guy that I definitely wanted to get to know, and I guess I set my mind out, and I married him 7 months later. So I immediately saw the repeated coverage and the footage of that plane flying into the South Tower, and I didn't know it was his plane at the time, but I went home, I walked over to my answering machine, and I pressed play. 8:58 a.m. he called me and he said, "Hey Jules, it's Brian. I'm on an airplane that's been hijacked. If things don't go well and it's not looking good, I want you to know I absolutely love you. I want you to do good, go have good times. Same to my family and everybody, and I totally love you, and I'll see you when you get here. Bye, babe." And he hung up the phone. And here to him was not Cape Cod, it wasn't New York, it wasn't LA. here was where he, at that point in time, when he picked up the phone to call me, knew where he was going. I think it's absolutely incredible that the memorial has found a way to do this. And I always have looked at this memorial, and for lack of a better way to say it, you know, there were over 1,000 people that never came home that day. They vanished. And Brian was one of them. I've never gotten anything back. Every day of the year, coming out here and putting these white roses, it's very special. And that's what it is. It's just a reminder that these people had birthdays. They didn't only die, but they lived. And, you know, and it's a great honor that they do that every day.
Even though people may be gone, they're always in our thoughts. It gives me solace knowing that I'm remembering these people and not forgetting them, and all of the world is doing the same along with me.
Thank you.
I'm not just doing it for myself, I'm doing it for everybody else that if they had the opportunity, they would do the same thing.